day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to World Creation Realities with Magro Yakubu. My name is Ain Radumba. Of course, I'm your presenter every time we come here. And it is indeed awesome to have you guys. If you've not subscribed to this particular channel, this is the time for you to be able to do so. So right now, click on the subscribe button and make sure that you activate the notification such that anytime that we drop this particular podcast, you get a notification. Mr. Magro Yakubu, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well today.
How are you feeling today?
Awesome. I'm very energized.
I can see you're quite energized. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about how to increase your income and how to reduce your expenses. You know, in one of our podcasts, you talked about there's a need for you to reduce your expenses and increase your income. That's one of the ways you can actually create tangible wealth. Okay, so let's start with reduction of expenses. So what are the ways that one can actually reduce expenses to be able to grow their income? Because we are very much in tune with this reality that if your income is greater than your expenses, then there's a possibility that you can actually grow your wealth over time. But if your expense is actually greater than your income, then like you say, you are in trouble.
Reducing your expenses means, or is all tied to a lifestyle. The lifestyle you live will determine whether you're going to be rich
or you're going to be poor. Okay.
So, I live frivolously, or you live ostentatiously.
Okay.
You are going to keep struggling, especially when the inflow is not commensurate with the outflow, or the outflow is not commensurate with the inflow. Invariably saying, I don't make as much as how I spend. Especially spending on the things that do not bring in value.
Okay.
Value is increased.
Okay.
So it means I am still going to keep struggling to do that. And the danger of it is going to keep you on the negative side of debt.
For a long period of time.
Probably. Have you noticed the rate of mental illness, suicide, depression?
Yeah, it's on the increase.
Most of them, to a large degree, I don't have any statistics to back that up, but from my environment, I have a few of them to tell you that majority of the illnesses that people go through and all these other vices is as a result of a lifestyle, which is going to consume more than you're making. So people find themselves struggling. And the worst thing, I typed it, there's another topic we'll talk about that has to do with debt.
Okay.
And stress.
Okay.
Because it will eventually put you in debt.
Okay.
And debt will put you under stress. And what that means is that the next thing, because a merry heart doeth good, like medicine, the scripture speaking. So when you're not a happy person, what happens?
You're gonna go through stress. So invariably, what you're saying in essence is that your lifestyle will, to a larger extent, determine how stressed you are much later as a result of the decisions you're making right now.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now let's talk about delay of gratification, because delay of gratification seems to be one of the basic principles that most wealthy men have said that they've lived by. I mean, of course, like they said in economics, that human wants are unlimited, right? Okay, it's insatiable, so to speak. Okay, let's even start with, what is the difference between wants and need? Let's start from there.
Wants are basics.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, let me don't mix them up.
Okay.
Your needs are the things that you have need for.
You can't do without them.
You can't do without.
Okay, so what are these things?
Your needs, 3 to 4 of them. You need a shelter over your head. You need food. You need
clothes. Okay.
I think that's about the basic things that you need.
Okay, so how about the wants? You think about
the wants are, I want a car.
Yeah.
I want a big house with a swimming pool. I want a Bugatti.
Yeah.
I want to fly Emirates.
Okay, so
Sorry, I don't intend to
advertise. Not a problem.
anyone, but like, those are expensive, ostentatious lives for compared. Though it's relative. If you make so much, you have every right to live your life. But be careful of living the social media life.
Okay. So so the first point of call is your ability to be able to define the difference between needs and want. So most people pay attention to their wants other than their needs, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now the delay of gratification. So how does the delay of gratification contribute to your ability to reduce your expenses and increase your income?
Interesting. Now, delayed gratification helps you to acquire
Okay.
the things. For instance, I can afford to buy a luxurious car,
Okay.
a luxury car, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I choose not to buy it because every channel there is a vision of how much I want to earn to lead the comfortable, because success is relative.
Okay.
What is success to you is different from me. I might just want a 2-bedroom apartment
And that's successful.
I consider myself successful. For you want probably a mansion with 52 rooms, maybe like that, you know.
Okay, so wait, hold it right there, because the truth is, living in the social media age, a lot of us assume that success will have to fit into a particular yardstick for it to be success. Take for an instance, you mentioned, okay, so I fly PJ for an instance, private jet, right? That makes me successful. I live in a mansion with 52 rooms. That makes me successful. I drive expensive cars, luxury cars. I fly business class when I'm flying on commercial. I mean, and you are saying right now that success is relative. Wow. I mean, throw more light on that, because a couple of people have actually gone through stress in their life just by trying to keep up with the Joneses, and here you are saying that success is relative. I mean, you just shed more light on this.
Success,
yes sir,
is not defined by your material acquisition. Success is defined. The barometer for measuring success is your peace of mind.
Say it again.
The barometer for measuring success, even though I know barometer is used to measure pressure, right?
Yeah.
So, what you use in measuring your peace of mind is what is called
success.
Wow.
Wow.
So long as you have peace, you are successful.
So, in other words, if my goal is to live in a 2-bedroom apartment and I'm able to live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and my friend next door is living in a 5-bedroom mansion, man, I'm successful, right?
You are successful, and your friend who is living in a 5-bedroom mansion will not or might not be successful.
Wow. So it's related.
So it's not measured by the material acquisitions that you have.
So it's not about the number of cars that you have.
So it is charade of
Okay.
to. That's why I said be careful about the social media life.
Okay.
You know, you want to depict a picture of what you are not, what you don't have. Because if I measure it with your peace of mind, you're troubled. And I am just at peace with my little life, acquiring or having all that I have need for. I am not under any form of pressure.
Are you trying to say we shouldn't be ambitious?
Ambitious, as a matter of fact, is an enemy of God.
Wow. Expand.
That is going to take us
totally off course. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, but you are created to fulfill a purpose.
I'm listening to you.
So, because you are created to fulfill a purpose, your assignment is to discover your purpose and fulfill it. Your purpose is not to come and give birth to your own vision. And your own vision is called ambition. But there is a maker. For instance, the car manufacturer designs the car. For instance, to say, I designed this car to run at so speed on ground. But no, the car comes alive and chooses to say, I want to run on water.
Okay.
So what happens? The car will sure struggle until it dies.
Okay, so when purpose is not known, abuse becomes inevitable.
Abuse is abnormal use.
Abnormal use.
So when you remove the normal, you have A-B-U-S-E, abuse.
Word.
Right?
Yeah.
So you are designed to discover your purpose, your use, and then develop it and put it to work. And that will take us to this point we talked about provision.
Okay.
Because everything you have need for to function has been provided.
Wow.
To fulfill a vision. But you see, being ambitious means it is about you, it's self-centered. Oh, it is about me, I want to do this. And yes, there's nothing. You will get there sometimes, but is there peace? Because it's a message of peace. And eventually, many people struggle through this journey and never experience what is called peace. That is why at every point in time when you meet many of the world, the rich men, they sit down and struggling to make the meaning of life.
Despite they're wealthy.
They're wealthy because they measure it by the acquisition of material stuff.
Okay.
And it's not giving them no satisfaction.
Okay. So you've heard it. No this and no peace. That's success is relative. I mean, what could actually be successful to somebody could be termed as success to somebody may not be success to the next person. So it is left for you to define what success is to you, and of course follow through with it. Okay, so now we're still talking about the issue of delay of gratification. So why would somebody want to delay gratification, or why is delay of gratification important when it comes to increasing your income and reducing your expenses?
It is very important to delay gratification for starters. When you delay gratification, it simply means you're clear about your costs on a journey. You delay it because I have no need for this now.
Okay.
Because it's my want. But a better version of whatever I want to enjoy will come ahead when I get to that point. So I remember when some designs of car, different models are coming. I could possibly just invest, because remember we talked about liabilities and assets. So they keep taking up and you've not acquired enough to be able to lead it. So what you eventually do is to find yourself struggling to keep up with the trend. And then because you're trying to keep up with the trend, you're getting into deeper trouble. And then COVID hits you.
Wow, the leveler.
So,
COVID.
You know, so that, see, this whole thing is so large that if I want to talk about my personal understanding and journey about, because I'm going to go to the dimension of the God's kind of wealth creation, man's kind of wealth creation, and the devil's type of wealth creation.
Okay.
So there is a God way designed by God, for God, and by God. There is man for the people, by the people, and in this case the people is me.
Okay.
By me, for me, and with me. And the other one is about the devil. So still not wanting to go off track.
Course, yeah.
We stay with gratification, delay it, build up your income to the point where you don't need to be careful.
Okay.
You don't need to be careful or checking the books so much. But make sure, like you said, the barometer, my income, my expense.
Okay, so the income is higher,
it has to
and
be higher.
The expense is actually lower than. Okay, so in other words, you're saying that it's actually cheaper to be yourself than keeping up with the Joneses.
It is cheaper and better to understand your purpose, because everything is tied to purpose. The more I try to get off track, I'm being pulled back. Because if you know your assignment on earth, every other thing is tied around it.
Okay.
You don't put the cart before the horse.
Okay.
So it will invariably design your life to delay
Okay.
Because everything is prepared for its time.
Okay, so first things first, find out your purpose. Number 2, delay gratification. Number 3 is actually cheaper to be you than to be a version of somebody else. Wow. Okay, so what other tip will you want to share with us as regards to reducing your income? Okay, fine. So how does one multiply his or her income or investment?
There are very many investment channels.
Okay.
But you see, from study, don't be ignorant of, like they say, do not abdicate supervision.
Okay.
But you can delegate.
Okay.
So delegating is, oh, I'm assigning you to do this for me. Okay, do this and do that. But supervision is for you to also be hands-on to know the technologies or the formulas
Okay.
that govern that line of business. Else, you are just throwing your money to the wind. So don't be oblivious of the platforms for which you're putting your investments. So the mistake a lot of people do, I'm an investor. And then, because you're an investor, you just throw money to the wind. Oh, I invested in this, I invested in that. And then, when they bring the financials, they cook up financials and you're not seeing the results. And they will, I remember buying some kind of stock, because then the trend about buying stocks, buying stocks. I bought and I never got dividend until after 4 years.
Wow. But after 4 years, when you got a dividend, was it what you really hoped for?
It was not up to 1%
of the total money invested.
of the total money invested. And by the time I got it after 10 years, well, after 11 years of holding on to that stock,
Yeah.
guess what?
What?
I sold the stock for half the price I bought it.
Oh, okay. So now, you as an investor, are you an ethical? How would you describe yourself or your personality of investment? Are you an ethical investor, or are you an investor just go with the tide or go with the flow?
Well, I understand that there are 3 categories of entrepreneurs.
Okay.
We have this classical entrepreneur, we have the social entrepreneur, we have the spiritual entrepreneur.
Okay. So which of them are you?
So I am more of a spiritual entrepreneur now, knowing better.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It means I do not mix my givings with my business.
Okay.
The social entrepreneur would mix his givings with his business.
Okay.
And the classic entrepreneur is, don't mess with me. It's all about
Business. Okay.
So do I need to delve more into
Yeah. Shed more light,
So-
so
so
we'll get a
the
clear
classic-
understanding.
The classic entrepreneur is one who, like I said, doesn't mess with anything apart from his business. You come on it, he will crush you, and he doesn't even bother about giving or anything. It's all about what he can take.
Yeah.
So that is the classic entrepreneur. You have the social entrepreneur, which is the worst of them,
Okay.
because that is one who is driven by his emotion.
Yeah.
I'm running a business. Oh, there's a need in church. I'm intentional about coming church.
Okay.
Oh, there's a building project in church, so I take my money, my business money, and I go give it. God did not call you to be stupid.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, remember I told you, we talked about the business people who don't carry money,
Yeah.
who have money assignment. So even your money has an assignment,
Okay.
even when it comes to giving. These are deep truths that they don't want to tell you, but it has a timing. When I get out of, God said in the Bible, you give out of your increase,
Not out of your capital.
not out of the seed. Because he's the one that gives bread to the eater
And seed to the sower. So in other words, you shouldn't eat your seed
Don't
and
eat
sow your bread.
And sow your bread.
Wow.
So always understand that. You need to understand, as a social entrepreneur, I pity them because they are always constantly struggling, and that is when the majority of people fall, especially in the religious nations.
Okay.
You understand? Because they do not know these principles, and they've been taught to think that it is all in the giving. Giving, that reminds me, giving does not create wealth.
You know, your opinion is actually unpopular.
Exactly. But I stay to say, value creation creates wealth.
So, in other words, it is not the giving that makes one wealthy. It's actually how much value you can create.
When you create, giving is only a form of showing humility and appreciation
For the gift that you have been given.
Gift that you're given.
They have been given.
Yes.
By God.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't create that. So people will argue, then I ask you, Cain and Abel.
Mm-hmm.
Cain killed Abel, right?
Yeah.
Was Cain poor?
No.
Was he poor?
No, he wasn't.
So what does that invariably tell you? Wealth is created by value, regardless. Cain had wealth by farming.
Okay.
Is that also?
Abel also had wealth
Abel has wealth
by being a shepherd. Yeah.
They are all wealthy. The only lesson is that one showed gratitude, and the other was an England because of what he chose to give. It didn't mean that he was poor.
Wow.
Do we understand?
Yeah.
Now that is a different dimension from the idea of creating wealth. They all created wealth in their different areas. But you see, giving is essentially to show gratitude, to say thank you. And it shows your humility to know that you're under someone. But the principles of creating wealth has nothing.
Okay, so what you're saying in essence is that if I get a deal of 5 million naira right now, that I shouldn't take out my tithe from the 5 million naira.
Well,
I should transact business, and from a profit, I will not take out my 10% to pay. Or when I finish paying myself salary, which one are you trying to say in essence?
Okay.
So that we'll have a clearer understanding.
No, I'd like to be very clear.
Okay.
Now, you're talking of getting 5 million. How are you getting the 5 million?
I did business.
Good. You did business, so you can decide to show gratitude.
Okay.
You're not a startup. It means you have done the business.
Yeah.
So it's you. And I believe that giving is by revelation.
Okay.
Okay.
So what if God reveals to you that inside that 5 million naira that has been given to you to transact business with,
Awesome.
that you should take out from
thank
it?
Thank God it is God that revealed to me, not a pastor.
Okay.
So you need to have an encounter.
Okay.
You need to have a relationship to get to that realm. Okay? You
Yeah.
need to have an encounter, a relationship to get to the realm where you hear from God and He tells you, this is it. For me, personally, I just think the devil is inconsequential in my equation of life.
Okay.
Because if the Bible said, before I was formed, He
Knew you. Yes.
So He has created me with a purpose. So the devil was not there. So you will now say, oh, why do you go through the things you go through? God was intentional. It was a process for me to be able to fulfill purpose. It was an intentional act by God, because He said in the scripture, if only they knew, they would not have crucified Jesus.
Yeah.
If only He knew.
Spiritual.
So it did. So it has nothing to do with, people are too devil conscious. The enemy conscious. No. And I take responsibility for my wrongdoings. I think you're gratifying the devil by even saying it's his fault. Because anybody you blame is higher than you.
Wow.
Anybody you throw the blame to is definitely a higher person than you in place of authority. So anyone who takes responsibility is the higher one.
Wow. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Mr. Magro Yakubu, and this is World Creation Realities with Mr. Magro Yakubu. And of course, this particular podcast was sponsored by Like Cream Foods and the Magro Global Nigeria Limited. This is Einaya Iradumba speaking, and we've been talking about how to increase your income and reduce your expenses. Any final words before we go, sir?
Well, I will want to say to people, discover your purpose, develop it, and then distribute it. Those are my 3 Ds of life.
Develop it. Discover it, develop it,
and distribute it.
Wow, fantastic. Okay, so until we come your way next time, of course, do not forget to subscribe to this particular channel, and of course, ensure that your notification is on, such that anytime that a video, a podcast goes live on this particular platform, that you get notified. Until we come your way next time, remain blessed. Peace.